We can debate all day long whether courses are in or out, still selling or not. But one thing's for sure, services are definitely more in demand than ever. One on one, done for you services. And for me personally, that has been a lot of coaching calls. I've noticed like around Q3 of last year, I was getting a huge uptick in people wanting to book an hour with me or book a full on mentorship package with me. For other people, that might mean more consulting calls or just like done for you services, so social media management, website design, branding packages, and so on. I realized I don't have a ton of content on my channel about coaching calls, consulting calls, and definitely you can use the same process for client calls, just keeping in touch with your done for you clients. So I thought I'd walk you through how I've been perfecting this workflow because I really feel like I've got it down to a system that is really easy for me to do. It only takes like an extra 20 minutes or so in addition to the call time. And that's efficient and helpful for the client as well.
If you're wondering how I get coaching clients in the first place, it really starts with social media for me, particularly in my case, YouTube, but also posting YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, Instagram carousels, threads posts, etc. And if you're going to be doing that much posting, you need a central platform where you can organize all of your content. And my favorite is Metricool. I want to tell you about some of Metricool's latest updates. They've got some really cool stuff coming through. Within Metricool, you can now use trending audio for TikTok business accounts. This is huge. Say goodbye to manually posting your short form content on TikTok. You can add a trending sound right within the tool, and you can choose from different locations and genres to get started. They also have LinkedIn personal analytics now. Amazing. Track the analytics from your personal LinkedIn profile to optimize your content strategy. There are also new Instagram reel metrics. You can track duration and retention percentages of your videos, which is really helpful. You can schedule with AI, schedule evergreen content, and set a posting cadence in the planner. Use guided mode to make scheduling even simpler. And you can copy to multiple brands. So if you have multiple brands, you can plan content in bulk for them, maximizing time and efficiency. It's always worth trying a Metricool premium plan to test out all of the new features. So be sure to use code Latasha to try any Metricool premium plan free for 30 days. Huge thanks to Metricool for sponsoring today's episode.
So, first off, I've got to say that I use HoneyBook. Okay. I use HoneyBook for the actual booking and the reminders for the call and all of the intake questionnaires. I use a tool called HoneyBook. If you're not familiar with it, it's a client management system. And essentially, you can create forms. They're called lead forms that ask like the preliminary questions. So, for a coaching call for me, if it's just a one off, it's pretty simple. It's kind of like, what's your name? What's your email address, your phone number? And what do you want help with? Like, share any links that are going to be helpful for me to review before we get on the call, and so on and so forth. If it's a coaching package, like more of an application, then it might be a little bit more robust where I'm asking about revenue streams and income amounts and things like that so I can really decide if I'm able to help that person and what my sort of strategy is going to be like. But you can create those all through Honeybook. And then what I really like is, like I said, the reminders are all done automatically. I know in the past when I was just kind of like DIYing things and sending out a Zoom link manually, it's like people would forget about the calls and I'd be sitting there just twiddling my thumbs, waiting for them to show up. That really sucks. Also, payment, that's another thing that you can do in Honeybook is you can create a lead form that has all those questions, has the calendar booking link, and then has an invoice all in one step. And they can't book the call without paying the invoice. So again, before I had a Honeybook, I would, invoice after the call and then sometimes people wouldn't pay, or I would invoice the morning of and then they'd be like, "Oh, actually I want to cancel." But with it all in one system, it's really nice. And you can decide when you want the reminders to go out. So I have two set up. I have one that goes out the day before, and then one I think that goes out the day of. So there's kind of like no excuse to miss it and at least cancel, like, with a few hours of notice instead of just no showing. You can also turn on a rescheduling link if you want to. I actually have this turned off. This is something that's really helped me enable my clients to show up. Of course, they can reschedule by sending me a message. and it's in our contract, like the details of when, how long you have to reschedule. But I found when it was just like really right in their face, like, hey, just reschedule, it kind of makes it makes it less of a thing that they're going to think twice about and more of a thing that they're just going to not take that seriously. So respecting everybody's time is super important. So I really like HoneyBook for that. I'm going to have a link for you, of course, down below. I do have a link that'll get you 30% off, I believe it is, your first year of HoneyBook. It's a tool that is so helpful, not just for coaching, but also for my social media management business, even invoicing like brand sponsor partners, and so much more. So I highly, highly recommend that tool. Now, HoneyBook does integrate with the next tool that I'm going to talk about, which is Zoom. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with Zoom, the video conferencing tool. I have thought about, I've like almost canceled my Zoom subscription just because Google Meet is really nice. It's just like all in one place if you're going to schedule a meeting, and it's free, right? But I don't know. You guys can actually let me know if you don't mind, if anyone knows, but Zoom obviously allows you to record the calls. But then, in addition to recording, if you pay for a pro subscription like I do, you can actually host the calls in the cloud. This is a huge thing because if you have a lot of coaching clients and you're like uploading all of your recordings to Google Drive, my Google Drive, even though I pay for extra space, it fills up really quickly. So I like Zoom because it gives me, like I said, the opportunity to record the calls to the cloud if they want. I always ask clients, do you want me to record this? Some clients don't care at all. They don't want me to record them. Some are like, yes, this is a lot of information for me to take down at once. I would love to be able to reference back to this recording. So instead of my old process where I uploaded the file, like I said, to Drive or sent it via email, I can now just send them a link to that Zoom room with a specialized password, and then they can watch it whenever they want to. And I believe they can download it from there as well. I actually am not too sure on the storage amounts because I just started using that process. But when I was just using Google Drive, I would say, hey, please make sure you download within 30 days. And then I cleaned it out, every 30 days to protect my space, my web space, if you will. But yeah, so I always offer that. I find that clients really appreciate that. Something to note here, I never really thought much about this until like I sat down to write out all of these steps, but it's probably in my best interest to add to our contract what they're allowed to do with that recording. I've never really thought about that. And luckily, knock on wood, I've never had anyone do anything weird with it. But I sometimes, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want somebody to post that full coaching call to their YouTube channel, for example, or, create a bunch of clips with it or something like that. So keep that in mind, maybe add that to your contract. I definitely will be adding that to my contract. It's really for their reference. The other thing when it comes to recording and notes and processing the meeting is I love HoneyBook's AI note taker. And that's saying a lot because I think like a lot of AI tools are overhyped, to be honest with you. I'm like, I don't find this very helpful, or like the notes it takes are kind of like jumbled and messy, but HoneyBooks is so good. It really is. I get so upset when I forget to schedule a meeting with HoneyBook, and so my note taker doesn't join. So to use this AI note taker, you just need to schedule your coaching call through HoneyBook. So make sure that they're in there. They don't have to pay through HoneyBook necessarily. Like you can add them as a client manually if they're a pre-existing coaching client or something like that. But you add them in, schedule a meeting with HoneyBook, and then it will just pop up in your Zoom call automatically for you. And it does a couple of things. One, it transcribes the entire meeting. This has been so helpful for me at number one, finding testimonials. If a client says something really nice to me on the call, and I just like make a little mental note of that, I can control F the transcript, search for exactly what they said, copy and paste it, send it to them in an email and say, hey, you said this really nice thing. Do you mind if I put this on my coaching page? And I've done this. And so far, everybody who I've asked has said yes, which has been amazing. It just like really simplifies that process. But number two, it's just nice for like remembering what we talked about, brushing up before I meet with them again, being able to reference what we talked about in a previous call, or for them to be able to skim through the notes and, get those action items out of it. Because sometimes I think coaching calls are just it's like it feels really good. You feel really high energy, you feel really motivated on it, and then you're like, "What was I supposed to do again? Like, what did we talk about?" It just all happened kinda so fast, and I'm really proud that in my coaching calls, we cover so much. Like, we really do. That's what everybody no, not everybody, obviously, I can't make that claim, but, like, many people have said to me, like, "Wow, we really, like this was like a master class in business." But the downside to that is if we're talking about, like, 5 different topics in a 60-minute span of time, it's a lot to retain. The other thing that the HoneyBook note taker does is actually give you a, like a consolidated list of main topics that you talked about, action items, and you can even create tasks for yourself within HoneyBook based off of those action items. It's really cool. Like if you're like, "Hey, Amanda, one of the things that I want to help you with next week is creating your YouTube channel banner." Let's just say it will find that, and then you can create a task and it will remind you in your client management system and like help you walk through that process. So I love these notes. I always share them with my clients. So you just go into your HoneyBook and you turn on visibility so your client can see it all in their HoneyBook dashboard. But to make it a little bit easier for them, I send an email as well. So your clients, when they sign on with you, they get access to HoneyBook. They get access to this sort of client portal, but sometimes people forget how to log into it or how to find it. So I always send a follow up email. Sometimes there are things that I needed to send as a follow up anyway, like, "Hey, I have to send you this link to join Riverside," or like whatever. So I'll send that in the body of the email. I also think it's important for customer service to just like add that last little human touch, add that moment of gratitude of, "Hey, it was so nice talking to you." Say something personal, right? Like say a call out from the call, something that you valued or that you are excited about. I think that's just like good manners. And then I send them the link to both the HoneyBook notes. I say, "Here are your notes in the HoneyBook portal. And also, here is your link to the Zoom recording if they wanted it recorded." And that's kind of like my system. Like I said, it used to take me forever between like uploading the call to Google Drive and making sure the sharing settings and then like the notes I had to just manually think of like from my head. Like I would take my own notes in my notes app on my MacBook and then I would like, write them in HoneyBook for that. Like it was just, it would take me quite a long time to finish up a coaching call, honestly. Now I usually spend, like I said, like 10 minutes before reviewing previous notes and then 10 minutes after just doing this quick little like checklist and sending it off to them. I also did a mention about the HoneyBook note taker. Something else I like is within the notes section of your client dashboard, it will give you pre-meeting notes as well. Because sometimes, like especially at the end of last year, I booked a ton of coaching calls in Q4. Like I had one day where I had like 6 in a day, which maybe isn't a lot to like full-time coaches, but for me, I would consider that a smaller part of my, business and revenue stream. And so that was like a lot. My brain wasn't used to keeping track of that many people. And I wanted to make sure that I was delivering, obviously, a high level of service to all of them. So being able to just quickly pull up their portal and it gives a little recap of, "Hey, this person, they came in to your website saying they wanted help with YouTube. This person wants to scale their agency. This person said that they took your course and blah, 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 blah." And I can be like, "Oh, yeah, of course. That's Jenny from SMMA." Or, that's Rachel who wants to build an agency. And like I am able to come to those calls a lot more prepared from the pre meeting notes as well. So that's my system. It's super simple. If you're a coach, by the way, or if you're somebody who's looking to introduce coaching or consulting calls into your sort of mix of offerings that you have, I do have a little mini course. It's called the Coaching Program Playbook that I have available. I will link it down below for you. It's just $10. And it's a great kind of primer and walkthrough of how exactly I set up my coaching calls because I feel like this is something else that I don't know. When I started doing coaching, I was like, how, like no one really talks about it. Maybe they do. Maybe they're all just behind really expensive programs or something. But I was like, what do you say on a coaching call? Like, how do you start the coaching call? How do you, deliver. But what happens when you talk to a client and you tell them, "Hey, like, this is what I would do," and then they don't do the thing? Like, what do you do then? And I just felt like I was really lost and stuck, so I did, like, a little brain release of all of my best tips for coaches, and like I said, people who wanna do consulting or more of that type of work with their clients. So I think it's a really helpful program. I go through all of the different systems that I use, some of the books and things that I've found helpful to growing that side of my business, and a lot more. So I'll leave that link down below for you if you want to check it out. But yeah, let me know if you have any other coaching questions, consulting questions. Like I said, courses, up for debate, right? This is kind of a hot topic in the industry right now of, do people want courses anymore? And I think it is definitely changing, but I do think that having the ability to have one-on-one access and really apply the skills that they've learned from your courses or your content or whatever that might be, for me at least, it's never been more in demand. So consider, opening it up if it's on your heart to do so. Obviously, do it, ethically, because we know, like, there's a lot of coaching scams out there too. We wanna, like, speak to what we really know we can help with and not try to be people's life coaches or mental health coaches if we're not qualified to do that. But yes, definitely something that I think can be done ethically and really be a huge value add for your community. So let me know if you have any other questions, and hope this was helpful. I'll talk to you in my next episode. Bye.